All right, let's talk about money. Today, we're diving into 6 super smart ways to use your money, coming straight from self made millionaire Phil Town. And look, these aren't just little tips and tricks. This is a real game plan to totally change your financial future. Ready? Let's jump in.
Okay, let me ask you something. Does this sound familiar? The more money you earn, it's just never enough, right? You get that raise you've been waiting for, you're making more than ever, but somehow at the end of the month, you're still stressed out. It's this super common, super frustrating feeling. But what if the problem isn't what we all think it is?
And that's where Phil Town's big idea comes in. He says the problem isn't really about how much you earn. Nope, it's all about how you use it. This is a huge mental shift, right? We're so focused on earning more, 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 when the real key to getting ahead is just getting smarter with the money we already have. Okay, so where do we even begin with all this? Well, you've got to start with the foundation. I mean, you wouldn't build a house on shaky ground, right? Same thing with your finances. Before you can make any smart moves, you first have to know, really know exactly where every single baht is going. Think about it. Without tracking, you get to the end of the month and you're just like, wait, where did all my money go? It's a mystery. But the second you start tracking, even with a simple budget, bam, you know exactly what's happening. And that knowledge, that's power. It gives you control. It's like Phil Town says, you can't manage what you don't measure. This step is absolutely non-negotiable if you want to be in charge. All right, so once you're tracking everything and you've got the data, the next big piece of the puzzle is all in your head. It's your mindset. We're talking about moving away from that I want it now feeling and starting to play the long game for your financial future. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Don't buy things to show off to people you don't even like. Wow, that really cuts deep because it points to one of the biggest money traps out there: spending because of social pressure. Buying stuff not because you need it, but to look a certain way. It's a losing game, and the only thing at stake is your own financial well-being. And Philtown gives some really powerful kind of gut-wrenching examples of this. You know that feeling your neighbor pulls up in a brand new car and suddenly your perfectly good car just doesn't feel good enough? That's it right there. That's emotional spending. He even talks about a single mom who bought a new car she totally couldn't afford, all because she didn't want her kid to be embarrassed at school. Man, those things feel so real and important in the moment, but they can absolutely wreck your long-term plans. Okay, so we've got the foundation, tracking your money. We've got the mindset, playing the long game. Now let's get practical and talk about tools, specifically how to control one of the biggest danger zones for our wallets, the credit card. So, look at this number, 15 to 25%. That's the average annual interest you're paying on credit card debt. Seriously, carrying a balance on your card is literally like trying to fill a bucket that has a giant hole in the bottom. That interest just drains your money away, making it almost impossible to actually get ahead. So, how in the world do you use a credit card without falling into that debt trap? Well, the expert we're following points to this brilliant kind of old school method called the envelope system. Here's how it works. Let's say you budget, 5,000 baht for eating out this month. You actually go to the ATM and pull out that 5,000 in cash. Now, whenever you go out and pay with your credit card, you take the cash equivalent from your stash and stick it in an envelope. Once that pile of cash is gone, that's it. Budget spent, you stop. Then at the end of the month, you take all the cash from that envelope and pay off the credit card bill in full. It's so simple, but it's a physical, tangible way to make your budget Okay, so you're tracking your spending. You've got a tool like the envelope system to keep things in check. Now it's time for the really satisfying part, taking action. This is where all that new information you have turns into real, meaningful change. So go look at where your money is actually going. Your own budget will tell you the story. For a lot of us, the money just kind of vanishes into these common money leaks. Things like collectibles, eating out at fancy places a little too often, always buying new clothes, or needing the latest gadget the second it comes out. The good news is, these are the exact spots where you can probably cut back a lot without feeling like you're sacrificing everything. And this really brings it all together into a super simple but powerful formula. You've got awareness that comes from tracking your money. You add a plan, something concrete like the envelope system. And what does that equal? Real financial control. It's those two things working together that put you back in charge. Okay, so everything we've talked about so far has been about playing good defense, right? Controlling your spending, avoiding debt, protecting what you have. But now it's time for the fun part. Let's talk offense. This is how you go from just being okay with money to actually building real long-term wealth. Listen, If your entire financial plan is just to pile up cash in a savings account, I've got some bad news. You're fighting a losing battle. The interest you get from the bank is practically nothing. Meanwhile, inflation is out there every single day, silently eating away at the value of your money. What 100 baht buys you today, it won't buy you next year. So just saving, it's not going to cut.
And that is exactly why we need to talk about investing. So what is it? Put simply, investing is just making your money make more money for you. It's using your cash to buy things that can grow in value over time, things like stocks or funds. This is the only reliable way to beat inflation and actually build that wealth you're looking for.
And here's the best part, and it's something a lot of people get wrong. You do not have to be rich to start investing. That's a total myth. These days, you can start with just a few hundred or 1,000 baht. Honestly, the most important thing isn't how much money you start with, it's when you start. Time. Time is your absolute greatest advantage.
Which really brings us to the final and maybe the most important question. You know the saying, right? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. It's the exact same thing with investing. So let me just ask you, if not now, then when?